Julian, it's lovely to see you here today at London Film and Comic Con. How have you been enjoying it?
Oh, it's been a great afternoon. Been one of the best I've been to. A lovely lot of fans, quite a lot of people I've seen before.
I was wondering, since we talked last time, what do you think Pycelle's reaction would have been to the Red Wedding?
A sort of experienced humour, I think, because he wasn't involved in it. He would not have felt in the least bit surprised. Let's just put it that way. He might have disapproved of some of it. I think you usually know when, it's only a little part, I know, but I think you usually know when he approves or disapproves of something. The audience does, but not the people in it don't necessarily know that. Well, we now know that two people do know he's up to no good. Well, he's up to good. The good is saving his own skin. But nobody else has twigged onto that thing yet. And so you can usually tell when he thinks, oh, that's not a very good idea, or yes, it is a very good idea, because if I actually go along with him, I'll be all right for the next year or so. And I think you could fairly call him an opportunist.
Definitely. I mean, if you were in his situation in the real world, how do you think you'd fare as Pycelle?
Well, I wouldn't be able to cope with it at all. I think I'd probably just run away. I'm not at all brave. With all that violence going on, I mean, the fact that he's survived all that time, and he must have started sometime. He must have started, I don't know what his family was, probably quite high-born, but in a clerical position. Then he took lessons in how to be a doctor and all that, and became quite useful to people, got gradually elevated, and kept his eyes open for the main chance. But never greedy, never wanted to be king, never wanted to be a knight or anything like that. Got promoted to Grand Maester is a promotion on a sort of civil servant sort of level. It's nothing to do with fighting or anything like that. Though I've no doubt he was a bit of a fighter when he was a young man. He's a very strong man. He's quite a strong man now. But how would Julian respond? I'd run away with my tail between my legs, frankly.
If you could give Pycelle some advice for season 4 and future seasons, what would you say to him?
Keep doing what you're doing, because he's always there, and he's an irritant to people. I mean, the Queen finds him terribly annoying. We just did a scene, it's not giving anything away, where it's a perfectly ordinary scene. It's a wedding scene, and she's feeling a bit annoyed that day. She just comes over and baits Pycelle, just to annoy him. And the king says to her, "You're in a good mood today. What is it?" She says, "Oh, simple pleasures." And just annoying Pycelle is part of her pleasure. And people do get a bit annoyed with him. Okay, that's fine. But he's jolly useful. You don't see it, but backstage, he's advising people and helping people. And I know that Varys at Conleth Hill, who's the head of the Secret Service, I know he would use him a lot. I don't know whether he ever will appear to be that in the series or not. I don't care. I'm in it, and I just love being in it. I love being with those actors and those directors and those scenic designers and those really clever writers. And oh yes, I enjoy that.
If you weren't Pycelle on the show, if you could be any other character, which character would you like to be?
Yes, I'd like to play Tywin. I'd like to play. I'm too old now, but that's the part that I would have played 20 years ago. That really tough nut leader, a bruiser, uncompromising but very intelligent, very good politician. That's the sort I would have played if I'd been in Charles Dance's position then. But as an old man, I'm terribly lucky, frankly, to have got this. I mean, if I am spared, I've got another 2 summers' work out of it. And at my age, I'm here to tell you that's something, because there aren't that number of old men parts about. And well, I grow my beard.
You mentioned Tywin, and he's very good at manoeuvring his family into a good position on the throne, isn't he? Who would you like to see on the Iron Throne, though?
I wouldn't like to see any of them on it, because they're all awful, but him. I think there's more chance of people getting a sort of fair deal with him than with anyone else. But they wouldn't get a fair deal. But there's more chance with him. And everyone on it's absolutely awful. But this is why old Pycelle, you know, he just doesn't offend people. And he's not, as I said before, he's not scrabbling for the top position. He doesn't want to be king. He's never wanted to be king or anything like that. He doesn't want to be a noble or do that intermarriage thing or have his daughter up for sale, and like they all are. And he's not interested in that. I don't know whether he's been married or not. I'm sure he has. He certainly works as if he has. Or as if he hasn't. That's the reason he survives. And to think that one of those people might be king instead of Joffrey, I suppose anybody's better than Joffrey, because Joffrey is so deeply unpleasant. I was saying to somebody else earlier on, that I think one of the fans, that he's the most absolutely evil person I've ever seen on the screen, because he's not like a tyrant, a dictator who is politically very ruthless and in order to keep himself at the top, he deliberately sets out to make people's lives uncomfortable. He devises things to make them uncomfortable, either physically or emotionally, and that's what's so disgusting about him. He does it deliberately. He doesn't think, oh, I've got to get rid of him, so I'll get rid of him. He just says, get rid of him, cut his head off. And the way the first example, getting rid of Stark's cutting his head off, despite the fact of the women pleading for him and all that, and him prefacing his decision with, the girls think I advise me very strongly, they have a good case, off with his head. It was pleasant for him to do that. He enjoyed that afternoon. And so I think we all want him out of the way, but we don't want him to go because he's such fun to watch. That scene in the first series, when he's nearly pushed over that battlement, and we all went, yes! And then that hand came on her shoulder, and she couldn't do it. And so here we are 3 series later, and there he is still at it. Awfully nice boy who plays him, you know.
Everyone says how lovely Jack Gleeson is, I really do.
Gentle, soft, extremely intelligent Irish man. He's studying to be a philosopher. Rather a long way from Joffrey, isn't it?
Yeah, right. A very, very long way. Thank you so much for talking to us.